back to the latest edition of Flamingle with me. I got a special guest here from the hometown of Youngstown,
Yeah.
visiting from Nashville, Tennessee, Taylor Borton. When's the last time you played in your hometown here?
Um, I think last May. It's like a year ago, probably.
So how long have you been out in Nashville for now?
About 4 years.
And I remember when I first met you, we were doing a scorebook at a
Oh my
volleyball
gosh.
game. That was years
Yeah.
ago, and you kept talking about, hey, I play guitar, I write some songs.
Yeah.
At that point when I knew you, did you ever think to yourself, you know what, I will live in Nashville one day? And
I think it was like in the back of my mind, but I never actually put it together that it could happen. And I just woke up one day and I was like, I'm gonna do it.
so you've been out there for 4 years now. How long
Yes.
did it take you really to get your feet wet? Did it take a while? Did you like to meet people, to start having people take you under the wing, to
Yeah.
kind of show you the ropes out there? I mean, I'd imagine it's kind of
So
got to be a
it
hard
was,
town.
yeah, it was like a weird time because then obviously COVID. So I moved there in like 2019, and then I went to school for 6 months, and then I graduated, and then like 2 months after that is when everything kind of like, I just took that time tracking and writing, and I did my first music video and all that during that time. Definitely like a year and a half before I started going out and playing and meeting people.
The songwriting process, do you have a certain way? I mean, let me ask you this. I'm sure there's times where the words come to you first, and I'm sure there's times where the music comes to you first, or
Yeah.
how's it? Which one happens more often than not?
If I'm not inspired or in the mood to write, I just shut down and can't. So I usually have something brewing in my head, like a title or like a story that I'm envisioning, and I just kind of think about what like tempo, vibe I want, and then as I do the verse, I kind of throw chords in, kind of go from there.
When you first started playing out, I'd imagine you kind of started playing a lot more covers at first,
Well,
or were you
well,
strictly just out
Nashville is
original
originals.
oriented?
Yeah, here before I moved, I did a lot of covers, so I had 3-4 hours worth of that. So when I got there, I didn't really have any songs, so I really couldn't go out and play. And
So we follow each other on social media, been friends for years, and man, you play all kinds of different venues.
yeah,
I mean,
really
so,
anywhere I can get.
I mean, so it seems like there's places where you might be running like old school, where you're running your vocals maybe like through a guitar amp, like everybody does at some point when they first start, and it
Yeah.
looks like there's times where you got like professional sound. I mean, so
Yeah.
take me through. I mean, what's the biggest dive place you've ever played, and what's the most
Man.
marquee place you've played?
My favorite places are the dives, and I've played those. I've played like festivals outside. I've played on like Loretta Lynn's Ranch, which was a really cool one. That's like an outdoor festival. And then I do more of like the intimate kind of sit down, eat, everybody listen sort of thing too. It's a little bit like mixed.
I see you do these. I guess they're called like songwriter table type rounds. What
Yeah.
exactly are those?
I don't know if it started at the Bluebird where they would sit in a circle and go around and take turns. Now you kind of just have a few people on stage and take turns. So you play for like an hour and play 3 or 4 of your own songs.
And I've seen you kind of do some collaborations here and
Yeah,
there.
I bring sometimes a steel player with me, lead players, or play with friends and we know each other's songs, so we'll just jump in. So that's fun.
Now you mentioned, and when you first moved out there, you went to schooling for a few months, recording school, right?
Yeah.
So how much hands-on are you with that recording when you record tracks now?
If I wanted to, I could just track vocals, guitar, and I'm not very strong at like mixing it or hearing those sounds very well. Didn't like tend to love it as much as I did writing and playing. So I just kind of stepped back from it and would rather have the whole feel and just enjoy the moment and have someone do it so I didn't have to put all my focus on it.
Music industry, though, I mean, just as you said, it's changed from the '90s. I mean, when people would be in bands in the '90s, their goal was, man, we gotta get signed, or you had to shout a whole bunch of money to go record. And now, I mean, how much can somebody basically record on their own? Like, what would a basic setup cost someone? I mean, you can almost do it pretty cheap on your laptop.
Yeah, with all the software out there, once you like put the money into that, download the stuff, get like a decent mic, you don't really have to know anybody. You can just sit at home, do it, and put it out, which is why there's so much of it.
I mean, so the music industry, it's moved away from really record sales, CD sales. Well, I guess record sales is where it's at now because vinyl outsells every
Yeah,
media
vinyl's
now.
coming back though.
Vinyl's back. I mean, it
Yeah,
outsold CDs last year. Um,
yeah,
but I guess, when I talk to people who are in bands locally, they say, you know what, we don't even really try to sell our music anymore because we put it out there for free on Spotify. Try to get the people to the
yeah.
shows and sell the merch. And
Merch is big.
I guess the merch sales where bands, especially on the local circuit, regional circuit, I guess
Yeah,
that's where the money's made.
it is like between that and just doing ticketed events and adding that all together.
Have you given any thought on how, if you make it big, you're going to approach the whole Ticketmaster situation? Everybody gets.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I don't know.
Our local youth hockey league team, that Youngstown Phantoms, I went to their championship game just last Friday, and a $5 ticket after I bought it on Ticketmaster, and it cost me I think
Right,
$13.26.
all
Right?
the extra
gotta be
things.
kidding! And over 100%
Yeah.
like surcharge for me on that
Yeah.
ticket. I mean, I'm sure that's because ticket was only $5.
Yeah.
That the percentage worked out that way, but it's crazy.
Yeah, we had the crazy Taylor Swift takeover. I think one ticket was like over $2,000
Oh my
or
gosh!
something.
Speaking of
I didn't go, but
the Taylor Swifts of the world, and the big time musicians. I mean, a lot of them do reside in the Nashville area. Have you rubbed elbows with any?
I mingled mainly with like the behind the scenes people, like the writers and people like that more. I really haven't had much luck with it. I've seen Keith Urban like, right when I started school, which was really cool. Didn't get to talk to him though. Easton Corbin, I ran into him a few times. All the audio engineers and all the songwriters. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I would say.
So every day in Nashville, there's a new Taylor Swift or Taylor Borton who arrives, and somebody says, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is my dream. I'm going to make it happen today. Have you taken anybody under your wing yet, being that you were in that position just a couple years ago?
There's definitely people that I even still play with in rounds and everything that will say like, hey, I just moved here a month ago, or I've been here for like a year, and now that I've been there for a bit, that sounds crazy.
As you kind of get your name out there, I think I saw you're on a some kind of what was it, Moon Pies? Were you on a Moon Pie box?
Moon Pies, yeah.
So you're on the Moon Pie box for what, Nashville's Rising Stars?
Fun,
I think
yeah.
it was?
They sponsored one of the writer rounds.
Yeah.
So then they put everybody that played on the box, which was really cool. And I most definitely ate like my whole box.
So as you kind of grow in popularity a little bit, I mean, your name's starting to vaguely get out there. I see some stuff. Back home, you had friendships. Do you maintain friendships from home? I mean, let's be real. Jealousy's a real thing.
It is.
Jealousy's a real thing.
It sure is.
And secretly, man, I have a good conversation with my friend Johnny, who lives out in Australia now. He's a published author. Had a book called Ungoogable. Did a podcast, mingles with a lot of boxers. And he gets on there and he says, I don't know why, as friends, we can't be each other's biggest cheerleaders, but secretly we're like each other's biggest haters. Have you run into that yet? Like, where you think that there's people you were close with who might secretly kind of be pulling for your demise out there and failures?
For sure. More like here, hometown, rather than Nashville. Nashville is honestly more like people do have your back. I've never had that many close friends in the first place. And playing these shows kind of answers that question for me. Who's going to come?
Mm-hmm.
Playing later today, like who's going to show up?
Have you ever been out to a bar in Nashville and had someone come up to you and say, you know what, I saw you a couple weeks ago, great set, or anything like that?
I've had that happen, yeah, or like see you at a different bar, or even the same night I've had that happen. I played and then I would go somewhere else.
I see. Sometimes you'll be like on the 5:30 slot. Next thing you know, you're at 8:30 and stuff.
Yeah,
pulling the old double headers.
I just seen you over there, and it's cool because they actually pay attention,
Yeah. Do you consider Nashville home now?
Yeah.
You've been there long enough, it's your home?
I know. I come back here and I'm like, what do I do? Like, what is there to do? I'm just at it so much that I don't know what I did here before. It's so weird.
Where do you see yourself maybe in 10 years? Where do you hope to see yourself in 10 years with this music?
Touring. Definitely like touring the U.S. and making enough to do it. Having a few cuts and hits or giving some of my songs to other artists.
So how many records have you put out now, or albums?
I just have singles, you would say.
EP. I mean,
out, yeah.
What is an EP considered?
Releasing four
songs
or so at once. And I just released 3 singles that I'm calling an EP.
Yeah.
Releasing singles gets like more of the algorithm and streams focused for you when you're starting out. 10 out now. And to think before I ever moved, like I didn't have any. That's really cool. For like 4 years.
Any temptation to maybe try to drop a full album, or just kind of not quite
No,
ready to bite that bullet
not
yet?
yet. I don't want to just drop it and then be like, oh, I listened to 2 of the songs on it. Like, listen to them all.
And that's the thing. I was driving with my friend Evan today, real quick, and we're actually listening to Matchbox 20, the Mad Season album, and I played for him my 3 favorite songs on the album were songs that were really buried on the album, not released as singles,
Right.
But a funny story about that song that you just played, "Silver Lining."
Uh-huh.
You know Fleetwood Mac, obviously.
Yeah.
So Stevie Nicks, and she had that song that she wrote, "Silver Springs," and that Fleetwood Mac Rumors album was so stacked that Silver Springs actually didn't even make the cut of that album. And so they released it as the B-side to Go Your Own Way, which was written by uh, Lindsey Buckingham. That was his, breakup song kind of deal with all of that. Then Silver Springs was really the driving force when they kind of re-emerged again there in the 90s with their dance special or whatever and world tour. But just crazy to think, just how a song that really found no life on a record years ago, 30-some years ago or 20-some years ago, and all of a sudden now becomes, the driving force to their
And that's what
reemerging.
sometimes happens. Taylor Swift or whoever, she has songs that she's just now releasing that she says she wrote like 12 years ago. So it's like you write them, and then at the time, I don't have a reason to put this out. Or like maybe in like 10, 15 years, I can just re-release these songs and get a whole different response.
And you always hear like some people talk about sophomore slumps with albums, where nothing ever tops the first album.
Right.
And is it like right in saying so that, well, listen, the first album is usually just years and years and years of somebody's catalog that they've been waiting to release.
Yeah.
You release like your best songs all these years, and now you're expected, within a year or 2 years to put out something new.
Right.
And it's almost rushed. It's a rushed product. I mean, is that almost? I mean, is there some truth behind what I just said there, do you think?
I would say it depends on who it is and like if they're with a label or how they have to do it and just their process. There's a lot of like co-writing that goes on. If I can sit at home and write a song by myself and it's good, I don't see a problem with it.
If you can take that whole booking thing off of your shoulders.
It's like a full-time job.
Yeah.
Every aspect, like booking, marketing, social media, each individual thing could be a full-time job. Currently, I've just, like the 4 years that I've been there, been trying to figure out how to do it and do it myself. And it's hard. So
and to grow organically. I mean, not to try to,
'cause you can pay. You can pay for
You can pay for ads. You can do that or whatever. And to grow your fan base, in organic style or whatever. I mean, and it's so, I mean, I'm sure like you've probably run some ads here and there, but it's not like we got thousands of dollars to spend to run $1,000 ads and reach, a million people or whatever. And so it's hard to grow your fan base organically.
And then you don't even get to do the creative side of it. That's what you want time to do is sit and write and then play them. But you can't because you're focusing on all the other aspects. So it's a lot. But I think I've made progress. And I hope 4 more years I make more progress.
It's always nice. It's always nice to come back home and visit. It's nice to see the Youngstown Business Journal reach on to write up. That was good to see.
I keep up with a lot here, your hometown where you started out, where you already have the fan base, grow that up, and then that's when you kind of expand. So in between here and Nashville, but obviously Nashville's different because everybody's doing it. Here, not everybody is.
Yeah.
So
it's always going to be your home.
It is.
Well, thank you for coming out here with me today, and
thank you.
I hope you had a flocking good time. Hey. So everybody check her out. What'd you say? TaylorBortonMusic.com?
Yeah.
And check her out. She's on all social media. And hey, next time you're in town, man, we'll catch up and see where that growth's been.
Right.
So next year you're gonna be in town again? You think?
Probably. I would love to come back in a few months, but that might be pushing it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, next time you're in town, reach out or where we'll link up, see where the growth is. Play a new song or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll keep up. I mean, you know what? And I'm in the kind of same boat as you are. Is trying to find people to kind of come
Yeah,
on your podcast.
it's the same
I just,
kind of
you know,
thing.
yeah, and I don't want to have somebody else's recycled guest, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, so now this was a good opportunity for me to have you catch up with you and put it out there for everybody. So
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on and look forward to doing it again.
Thanks.
All right, till next time, everybody. For Taylor, Ryan, we'll see you next time.